One of my favorite kind of sayings, or I guess self-motivating things to remember, is that within every adversity lies the seed of an equal or greater benefit. I think it's fair to say that one of the beneficial things that's come from COVID is that people are more cognizant about washing their hands, right? In fact, staying clean is more important now than it ever has been. Whether you're sudsing your car down, whether you're washing your hands, or whether you're soaping down in the shower. That's why phrases like shower gel or laundry fresh or soapy, sudsy, clean have become more and more important, and in particular, in men's fragrance, they reference a kind of sorta genre or type of fragrance that's very important. So if you want to come off very fresh, very clean, then stick around because this video is for you. I've got 10 fragrances that will do just that and are extremely affordable. That and more is coming your way, so stay tuned. Welcome back everyone, Tommy with Studio Sense here, and today we're taking a look at 10 fragrances that have a penchant for making you come across very fresh, very soapy, very sudsy, like you literally just stepped out of the shower and you're ready to go. One of my favorite attributes of these soapy, sudsy, clean fragrances is that they're very inexpensive, very accessible, so really anybody can own them, and most of them are available and for sale on your favorite discounter website. The first fragrance I'd like to feature that's soapy, sudsy, and clean, and literally that's the first thing I thought of when I wore this fragrance, probably 20 to 30 minutes into wearing it. And it's a fragrance by Lacoste, who's very well known for that whole sporty, shower fresh, clean kind of vibe, because that's their gig, is Lacoste Essential. If you don't know anything about Lacoste Essential, it's a very citrus forward fragrance, as are most of Lacoste fragrances, because citrus is synonymous almost with shower fresh or soapy clean. There's a very pleasant trifecta of blackcurrant, tangerine, and bergamot in the open of Lacoste Essential. The heart is black pepper and rose, then some patchouli, sandalwood, and woody notes in the base. This is kind of like the older gent that still wears modern duds, you know, he comes across trendy. 2005 I think is when it came out. Doesn't smell like an early 2000s fragrance. It's got that whole modern masculine man twist to it, so it will always be one of those classic citrus, shower fresh, soapy, sudsy fragrances, and it's very inexpensive. Lacoste Essential. Anyone who knows men's fragrance even just a little bit knows you got to be cautious when it comes to your bigger brands out there, because they can be bargain basement quality sometimes. But occasionally they will produce a really super solid fragrance, and this one, I'm happy to say, is a very pleasant, sudsy, soapy, fresh fragrance by Guess. It is Guess Dare. I'm actually wearing Guess Dare as my scent of the day today, and it's performing really well. I wasn't expecting a lot out of it, as you don't really expect a lot out of very inexpensive fragrances. This one is, you know, obviously $25 400ml bottle, but it happens to maintain that characterization of a soapy, sudsy fragrance. It makes you feel like you've just showered off and put on a fresh t-shirt and you're ready for the day's activity. And that's the biggest attribute or claim to fame of Guess Dare, along with a decently commensurate rate of performance for the price that you pay. So this one is a great little casual, soapy, sudsy, solid find for a casual fragrance. So if you're looking for something, fits that bill. In fact, I think the box is made out of denim material to let you know, hey, this is a t-shirt and jeans fragrance. And nothing does I'm showered down and ready to go better than a clean white t-shirt and jeans. Guess Dare. This next fragrance I'm featuring as a solid soapy offering is a little bit of a surprise from the fragrance brand Police. It is Police Icon. It looks like the Maltese Falcon. Kind of, sort of. Actually, it looks like several things. But regardless of the presentation, which is kind of cool, it's like obviously overall plastic, looks like a low polygon model. I actually kind of like the presentation and the appearance, but this one actually reminds me of a soapy version of Versace Dylan Blue without the kind of darker bite to it. It's not quite as pungent in the dry down. It's a little bit lighter, it's a little bit more lilting. Versace Dylan Blue is a fantastic fragrance. It's a little bit more serious. This one is a little bit more youthful oriented, and although it maintains that same kind of energy and it's got surprising performance, in the dry down this will remind you of similar fragrances that are kind of like that luxury hotel soap smell. It's got that kind of overall aroma to it, a little bit of the blue fragrance genre influence. in the aroma as well. Very affordable, very enjoyable. Police icon. This next fragrance was released a little bit mysteriously by the House of Mont Blanc, and when it came out, a lot of people didn't really know what to think of it. I wasn't super impressed when Mont Blanc Individuel Tonic first came out, but I will say, as time goes on and the more that I wear it on a casual basis, there's not a lot of room for Individuel Tonic in your life other than just using it casually out of the shower. But I will say it does smell, it's very reminiscent of like a Irish Spring kind of wannabe soap. Best way I can describe Individuel Tonic is when you spray it on, especially in the dry down, it makes you have that squeaky clean feeling, like you've just stepped out of the shower, you've donned some fresh clothes that are freshly laundered, and you just feel good. So there is a place for this fragrance, albeit kind of a narrow window of opportunity of usage. So relatively linear, but very soapy clean. Individuel Tonic. One of my first experiences with this designer's fragrance line is Diesel's Only the Brave Extreme. Only the Brave Extreme is very much like a lightly sweet, soapy kind of line of soap for men that's just got that whole masculine clean done right. Almost like the original Dove or the original Soap on a Rope. Yeah, you knew I had to make reference to Soap on a Rope. Not necessarily retro, but like a 50s to 60s coming of age of soap, right? When soap became a little bit more important. When guys started thinking of hygiene as being a little bit more important than it used to be, guys started looking at hygiene and soap a little bit more closely, and that's kind of what this reminds me of. Got Prima 4 lemon, mandarin orange, coriander, apple, and the extreme just indicates that it does have a little bit more staying power than the typical Only the Brave. So definitely check this one out. Has become very affordable as time has gone on, but I feel like in the future this is going to be one of those that's going to be discontinued, so grab one up while you can and while they're readily available. This next sudsy fragrance pretty much wrote the book of clean sudsy because it is an aquatic fragrance that does the whole soapy sudsy just right. Kind of set the precedent for future fragrances to be clean, soapy, and sudsy and very bright, using not only floral notes but citrus and floral combinations, kind of more known for using lavender and florals with other citruses, and that is Davidoff Cool Water, and this is the Intense version. Davidoff Cool Water Intense is probably the most reminiscent of soap and soapy suds and shower gel of any of the flankers, at least in my experience. If you experience something different and you have different thoughts on which one is best, which flanker is best of the Cool Water line, let me know in the comments below. I'd really be interested in hearing what your thoughts are on. But for my money, Cool Water Intense is the most soapy, sudsy, clean of the flankers. Combination of green mandarin orange, coconut water, and amber with that very well-known lavender mixture in there, and it's super refreshing. Davidoff Cool Water Intense. And who would have thunk that lime and absinthe would make a fantastic combination to come across super fresh and clean, and especially in terms of soap. Let's face it, there are a ton of women's soaps out there. Women have an innumerable amount of options when it comes to soap, and guys, we just have like charcoal and sandalwood. But on occasion they'll throw in some, lime and absinthe, and that's why Coach Blue makes me think of a really nice soapy option for men. It's got that Coach DNA that's modern masculine. Ozone, black pepper, amber, cedarwood. Ozone is similar to aquatic, it's just flip side of the coin. Wouldn't pay the price of entry when it first came out, but now it's about just perfectly where it needs to be in terms of affordability. Coach Blue for men. Another designer that has quite a few fragrances in their catalog to choose from for men, but not a lot of them are soapy, sudsy, clean. This is probably the most, at least in my experience, is Yope, and it is Yope Go. Go comes in this green looking bottle that actually looks like a bar of soap, kind of. This is an unusual little fragrance. It's got bitter orange, pimento, and rhubarb in the open. In the heart, it's got some floral notes, geranium, violets, cypress, woods start in the heart as well. Balsam fir and musk in the base. It's kind of like, it's reminiscent of another fragrance that we'll be talking about. But it takes that combination of citrus, floral, and wood and comes together in a very fresh, clean, soapy, especially in the dry down when you're wearing this, where it finally sits and rests for a good 5 to 6 hours. You'll definitely want to check out Go. The next solid soapy clean fragrance I'd like to feature is one from a designer that's really become adept at making a great apple fragrance, because that's pretty much what is in their main fragrance, their pillar fragrance. It's Hugo Boss and the new Hugo Man. I say new, it's a reformulation of the original, I think 1995 and 2021. This is a 2021 release. Hugo Man probably has the most soapy hubris of any fragrance in this list. In other words, it's the one that most smells most ostentatiously like soap. This was my scent of the day a few days ago, and I promise you I'm not making this up, even though it sounds like I'm making it up, because it's a perfect story for this video. But my wife smelled me wearing this and she was like, "Did you just get out of the shower?" I actually laughed and told her no, but it's going to be featured in a video about fragrances that smell very shower fresh, very soapy clean. So it's really attributable to the kind of a combination of crisp apple, balsam fir, and lavender, because a lot of shampoos try to include citrus and lavender. Lavender is a great essential oil for the commercial use simply because it's very prolific. There's a lot of it. It's not super expensive, and it just makes everything smell so good. Plus, it has kind of a calming effect on products. You know, that's been proven scientifically. So that kind of gives that soapy, fresh sensation feeling, lends itself to fragrances, specifically with lavender in them, and this definitely has a good infusion of lavender. Another casual great is Hugo Man, the 2021 edition. Last of my 10 solid, soapy, affordable fragrances, if you just want to come across super clean and fresh, is a fragrance by Calvin Klein. Every year they come out with a new iteration, and every year they tweak it just a bit more to fit a specific kind of scenario. CK1 Summer. All you got to remember is the very weird word onomatopoeia. This one actually came with some stickers of, you know, like comic speech bubbles that you could write things on, or I think they already had something on them. Anyway, I don't know. Mine's still in the box in the basement, put away somewhere. But this was a really fresh, citrusy, soapy version of the CK1 Summer. It's got tangerine, bergamot, water lily, aquatic notes, some nice juniper in there. Now, juniper actually takes the place of where lavender normally would have a place at the table, and that's what brings more of the kind of the fresh, crisp, soap-like effect to the fragrance, in combination with the other citrus and aquatic notes. There's even a bit of matcha tea. There's amber, driftwood is the wood in here, so it has that whole kind of Acqua di Gio vibe, while being a bit more on the soapy, accessible side, in specific, the affordability side, because CK1 Summer, you can get the 2019 version for 20 bucks or just over 20 bucks. Very well worth it for a fresh, casual, soapy clean fragrance. CK1 Summer 2019. Well guys, you can wash your hands, throw them under the dryer, because we are finito. We are done. That's 10 fragrances that will help you feel clean, fresh, invigorated, and for very little money. So they're all very affordable. If you own any of these that we talked about in this video, let me know what your experience with them is like. And if you're aware of other colognes that are specifically soapy, fresh, and clean, let us know what those are too in the comments below. Thanks so much though for tuning in and stopping by to check out today's video. And as always, thank you so much for your support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you tomorrow.